Hey all, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever it may be for wherever you are. I am Stephanie Joy with all things Social Security and the Joy Disability Law Office. Your video is about to start. I wanted to remind you of our live Q&A sessions here on YouTube as well. They start at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's a little earlier for you Western folks. And I look forward to seeing you there. It's a first come, first served basis in terms of the questions you might want to pose in the chat. And I will pick them up going from beginning to end for about a 2 hour period. So, anyway, I hope to see you there. Have a great one, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Okay, a little review here. I was going over a function report with my team, and I wanted to bring up a point, and not everyone does this, but I wanted to explain why it's not really a good idea, in my opinion, to answer a question in this format. So in this case, and it was under the section about, I think it was number 6 where it started. Um, yeah, under 6, under number 6, but then under the section that they talk about chores, which is later on. And under the chores section, and this is where they would be connected. Um, what chores do you did it up? And so the person's describing chores, and then there's a notation down there that they ask about how often do you do it, how long does it take? And the person put 8 hours. Now, I think what she was getting at was basically all day long. Um, I do chores when I'm not otherwise doing something else. And I know from other information that she's frequently, there's probably 2.5 hours worth of naps in the 9 hour day from, let's say, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And intermittently all throughout is going to recline to get off of her body parts because of the pain with some pretty significant arthritises in all the various joints. And so when you look at now, so she's saying she does housework 8 hours. What she meant was, and I spoke to her about it, I'm like, if you can do housework at 8 hours, you could probably go work at a hotel doing housekeeping, right? And she's like, well, no, it's all day. I do a little here and I do a little here. And she's obviously not doing the really heavy stuff. But, and I said, so it's not really 8 hours. It's when you add it all up, how much are you actually doing? And it probably did come out to a good hour. But otherwise, it was like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. And there's 12 sets of 5 minutes, in it that make up an hour. So I thought it'd probably be better to explain that exactly as it is instead of saying 8 hours, because that gives a very, very different picture as to what you're doing. And I do think saying 8 hours would have sunk her ship, her otherwise very strong ship, if we just get this done right. So when you read your question, always think about it. And when you give your answer, review it the next day and say, does that sound like a limited person or an unlimited person? And I'm talking about primarily right now if you have physical limitations, not if you're an entirely mental impairment case. And most people have physical, whether or not they have mental as well. So look at it from the eyes of someone who doesn't know you at all. If you are reading this about someone else, oh, how chores 8 hours a day. Um, that the whole description was so off. It happens in other ways to a lesser degree, but this one was really so blatant. Um, yeah, I mean, so blatant that you never want to give a false impression of being able to do too much, and this one really would have. I think it would have been. It probably would have been grabbed as a crumb to support a denial down the road because it was that bad. And the reflection back to number 6, because that's the question about what do you do from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed. Uh, she did mention doing housework, but didn't say in there that she did it for 8 hours because that obviously wasn't the way she thought of it. It was only when it said, how often do you do it? How long? And she didn't say how often she does it. She just said 8 hours. So she hadn't really completely answered that question anyway. But so, during in question 6, if you do putz around the house doing a little bit of housework to the extent you're able in between doctor's appointments, in between resting, and for most people, there's a lot of rest going on. You want to be clear that it is how broken up it might be, you know. Because again, if you're able to do housework 8 hours a day, that is not highly limited. You could be limited because maybe you used to do lumberjack work and now you can only do gentle housework. But for a lot of people, that's going to mean not disabled, right? So be careful with the words. Be careful when you're given a number. Um, Make sure if you're giving a number, it is very accurate. So test yourself if you must, or journal to see how often or how long something's going on, how frequently you do it. But also, if the number appears to be unfavorable, it could shed a light on your whole case that it really shouldn't. So unless the question directly mandates that you figure out a number, number one, make sure you know your number. But if it doesn't demand that you provide a number, then don't. Because guaranteed, if you have significant physical limitations, the number you're thinking is accurate is probably not accurate. So don't let an inaccurate number sink your case. You know, it's probably going to take more thought and delving. Maybe you're not understanding the question, and there's better ways to explain it regardless. So that are accurate, that are, because you always want to be accurate, but there are ways to explain things that are more accurate than some little blurb a lot of the time, because there's more to it than that, such as all those breaks that need to be done in between. So really my housekeeping is, all 45 minutes if I'm lucky in a given day. Some days I don't do it at all because I'm in bed, um, or just not up to it. So anyway, that's what I want to talk about. That whole blanket. I do it all day long. She doesn't really do it all day long. It's just that it's broken up in those specs throughout the day. And of course, that didn't even mention the days that she doesn't do it at all, which we had to make sure it got in there because there are many days she doesn't do squat. All right. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Housekeeping. Do you do it all day long or do you not do it? Important, the difference. I'm back again. Just super quick. If you haven't checked out the join button with the memberships that are being offered, consider doing it. A lot of people who seek very brief interaction clarifications personally on their own matters are able to use it at a very affordable membership rate, where they wouldn't normally be able to get a consultation for, in their eyesights. And then there's other benefits as well, but it's a three-tiered membership, and you might just find that you could use it. I'm hoping it's benefits of value. I'll talk to you later. Bye.